Alexander the Great dies at 25. The West never exists. This is what the math says should have happened. There is no Roman Empire, no spread of Christianity, no Western civilization as you know it. The entire trajectory of human history pivots on a single moment, a panicked king in a golden chariot. October 1st, 331 BC. The plains of Gaugamela. Alexander the Great leads a wedge of cavalry directly at the Persian emperor. Darius has two choices: hold the line or run. In our timeline, he ran. But if Darius had held for just 60 more seconds, the world you live in today would not exist. This is the story of the battle that almost saved Persia, and the alternate world that dies with one cavalry charge. By 331 BC, Darius III had lost once. At Issus, trapped in a narrow coastal pass, he panicked and fled, leaving his family behind. But Darius was still emperor of the wealthiest state on earth. This time, he chose the battlefield, Gaugamela, a flat, featureless plain in northern Iraq. He spent weeks leveling the ground, clearing every rock and shrub, creating a highway for his superweapon, 200 scythed chariots with 3-foot blades designed to shred the Macedonian Phalanx. He gathered 100,000 men. Alexander had 47,000. Alexander didn't fight the battle Darius expected. He began with a diagonal drift to the right, forcing Darius to overextend his line to prevent being outflanked. A gap opened in the Persian center. When the scythed chariots charged, the Macedonian Phalanx simply opened channels, letting the horses pass harmlessly through. The superweapon failed. Alexander saw the gap. He pivoted his companion cavalry into a tight wedge and charged, not at the army, but at the king. He fought through the immortals, Persia's elite guard. He got within throwing distance of Darius's chariot. He hurled a spear. It missed Darius by inches but killed his charioteer, who collapsed at the king's feet. Darius looked at the blood-soaked Macedonian bearing down on him, and he broke. He fled. The Persian army, seeing their king retreat, dissolved. The empire died that day. But what if he hadn't? Same moment. Alexander's wedge crashes into the Persian center. The immortals are dying, but holding. Darius's charioteer falls dead. Alexander is screaming, 20 yards away. Darius feels the panic rising, but this time, he doesn't run. He draws his sword. He screams at his guards to hold. 60 seconds. Then, nature intervenes. A sudden dust storm, common in the Iraqi autumn, blinds the Macedonian ranks. The channels meant to absorb the scythed chariots don't open in time. The chariots hit the phalanx at full gallop. It isn't a battle, it's a harvest. The 18-foot sarissas, designed to stop men, are snapped like dried twigs by the momentum of armored horses and spinning blades. As the center shatters, the anvil of Alexander's strategy ceases to exist. The Macedonian line fractures into isolated islands in a sea of Persian iron. On the left, General Parmenion is overwhelmed by Scythian horse archers and war elephants. He sends a frantic messenger to Alexander. The messenger is cut down in the dust. Alexander, leading the companion cavalry, is blind to the collapse. He is still hunting Darius. But Darius hasn't fled. He has moved his chariot behind a screen of immortals, drawing Alexander deeper into a kill zone. The companion cavalry is suddenly surrounded by 10,000 elite infantry. Alexander's horse, Bucephalus, is hamstrung by a Persian javelin. The boy king falls. In the dirt of Gaugamela, the divine aura of the son of Amun-Ra vanishes. He is just a 25-year-old man in bronze armor. alone in a sea of enemies. The death of Alexander is not a heroic climax. It is an administrative conclusion. Without the head, the Macedonian body dissolves. 32,000 infantry are slaughtered where they stand, 1,000 miles from the nearest friendly port. By sunset, the featureless plain of Gaugamela is a graveyard of sarissas and Greek shields. In this timeline, the Hellenistic Age never begins. The Library of Alexandria is never built because Alexandria is never founded. Instead, the great library of Susa becomes the repository of world knowledge. Greek texts translated into Aramaic, Egyptian papyri catalogued alongside Mesopotamian tablets, all curated by Persian scholars. The Greek language remains a local dialect of the Aegean, not the lingua franca of the world. The Achaemenid Persian Empire, instead of collapsing, enters a period of great reform under Darius the Restorer. He centralizes power and modernizes his military based on the very Macedonian tactics that almost destroyed him. Alexander bet on the variable of his own genius. Darius bet on the constants: geography, logistics, imperial infrastructure. The royal road becomes the world's primary artery of trade, stretching from India to the borders of a young, insignificant city-state in Italy called Rome. Macedonia is reduced to a Persian satrapy. Philip's war machine is dismantled, its engineers taken to Susa to build weapons for the great king. Greece is not invaded, it is bought. Using the gold reserves of Susa, Persia funds Sparta to act as its enforcer. The golden age of Athens is suffocated by the heavy administrative blanket of the great king. With Greece neutralized, the energy of the Mediterranean shifts west. Two powers circle each other: the merchant empire of Carthage in North Africa and the wolf sons of Rome in Italy. Carthage signs a treaty of mutual defense and trade with the Persian Empire, the Treaty of Tyre. When the First Punic War begins in 264 BC, Rome faces a nightmare. Carthaginian fleets, reinforced by Persian engineering and gold, dominate the sea. Rome is contained. It never conquers the Mediterranean. It remains a strong militaristic regional power trapped on its peninsula, a land wolf snarling at a sea it cannot control. By the year 1 AD, the world is a triarchy. The Persian Empire holds the East. Carthage holds Africa and the seas. Rome holds Europe. It is a stable, colder world, a world of trade and treaties, not rapid conquest. There is no Julius Caesar, no fall of the Republic, no Pax Romana. Instead, we have the Pax Persa, the Persian peace. This changes the trajectory of religion. Without the Roman Empire to spread Christianity via its road networks, and without Greek philosophy to provide its theological language, the cult of Christos remains a small sect in Judea. Instead, the dominant religion of the West becomes Mithraism, the Persian worship of the sun god Mithras, an export version of Persian Zoroastrianism designed for soldiers and merchants. The cross is never adopted. The bull becomes the symbol of Western faith. Alexander's body is returned to his mother, Olympias, in Macedonia, a gesture of pity from King Darius. There are no grand monuments, a simple funeral in the mountains. The smoke rises into a gray sky. History remembers Alexander III of Macedon as a cautionary tale, a brilliant tactician who forgot the first rule of war: logistics. A prince who thought he could fight the math of an empire with the heart of a hero. In the end, the world didn't need a hero. It needed a system. And on the dusty plains of Gaugamela, the system won. Darius III dies in his bed, the master of half the world, having successfully jammed the gears of the Macedonian machine. By 2025, the world is unrecognizable. The Middle East, dominated by a continuous Persian cultural sphere for over 2 millennia, is wealthier and more stable. Europe is poorer, more fragmented. There is no Western civilization as a coherent concept. Ancient Persian architecture blends seamlessly with modern skyscrapers, an unbroken line of history from Darius to the present day. And it all hinged on 60 seconds. One man's courage, one cavalry charge that failed. History is not written by the strongest. It is written by those who survive the transaction.